Hello again. Going to continue where we left off in rocking and swaying. Middle dantian, maintaining a space, staying in space where it is. Upper and lower dantian, circling around that space, just like this, okay? That's what we were working on. When I'm doing it, I'm going to get my hands out of the way here. You can see I'm trying to put this, here I'll stop it like this, kind of in the same place. And this is one of the drills my teacher made me do a lot of. If this gets really simple, if you want to train the way he made me work, get some weights. We would use sandbags, traction bags, because we live way up north where there's snow and ice. So in the winter you can get traction bags of sand, a few pounds each, and then you try to hold it on your center and move around it. And it's really nice because just that little extra weight, it gives you something to focus on. So it's something to know. Now to continue on, same drill. If you want to do this properly, you have to know the Lotus stepping, okay? Which is kind of almost the entire stepping system. You've got the stepping form, which we did earlier, which gives you your orthodox stances and kicks and how to move and where's your power and what's your center point doing, all that kind of good stuff. And then you've got Lotus stepping, which sort of drunks it all up. It's known as the 7 steps of the Lotus, or the 9 steps of the Lotus, or the 5 steps of the Lotus. It doesn't matter as long as it's an odd number, because it's odd. That's the whole idea. There's no real, it doesn't matter which one you call it. It's just a weird way to step, okay? Lotuses have many, many pedals. So in our drunken form, what you generally see is this. Hands are in position. First step, you're going to do a cross with a nice inside crescent kick. Swing the leg across into an X. Step backwards into a bow. Into a cat. Side kick over into another bow. Shifting the weight, there's your knee attack there, okay? And then coming back forward. And then we're right back where we started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 steps of the Lotus. But could be called 9 steps of the Lotus, right? Why? I don't know. It's just the way it is. It doesn't make any difference. So, Lotus step. Maintaining, rocking, and swaying with the feet going around. Now when you train this, you'll start practicing, practice your kicks in each technique. The arms, all I'm doing is called tending the bar. And all that is right hand over left, left hand over right. Okay, and it's just that over and over and over. Notice the body's moving, I'm not doing this. Okay? So that everything in the body's working at once. Now when you train this, even in the form, it's completely open. It's not like, when I kick with my right leg, my right hand moves forward. Not at all. Go like this, go like this. Simple as that. Now, if what I'm doing, from my perspective, I'm going this way. So I'll call it anti-clockwise. If I'm doing an anti-clockwise circle with my legs, here, I could be doing an anti-clockwise circle with my hands. But for good training, even in the forms, you might reverse the hands. So I'm doing clockwise up top and anti-clockwise down below. Then in the form, you might just shift and start going the other way. So now I'm doing clockwise with both. And then finally, clockwise steps with anti-clockwise hands. Doesn't make any difference. But you want to have full yin and yang reversal in every part of that training, okay? Because it's literally the stepping system. If you can only step left, well, I sure hope everybody's over there when you're fighting them, because that's the only way it's going to work. You have to be able to do everything fluidly, freely, combatively, actively, okay? So clockwise or anti-clockwise hands, clockwise or anti-clockwise feet. Take a look at those feet. Find every kick you can. There's front kicks, side kicks, crescent kicks are in there, mud steps right out of the stepping form. We've got X stances, knee attacks, all kinds of good stuff. Because I've already done the stepping form, I'm not going to bother showing you guys that because you guys have watched those videos. You don't need to hear me bark about it again. Same thing with the hands. When the hands are moving in this way, you have to remember that the basic drunken style punch is not linear. It's not like I move straight ahead like you do in an orthodox technique, right? Every time you throw a punch in drunken, because of the whip from the waist, the lower dantian, followed by the middle, your arm is going to cover a small arc, okay? So this might make it obvious. You can see kind of the arc here going on. So I just put that cup fist on, that's really all that's happening. So every one of my drunken punches are in these small arcs. The second punch in the 10 to bar technique, so we've got our straight punch here, right? And then we've got our back fist on the other side, okay? Nice little combo. Fire one, knock his arm out of the way, hit him in the head, right? And then it just keeps continuing. So long as the steps are working, that's quite enough actually to beat most, twits, unless they know something. If they know something, then you need more than this, okay? Simple as that. So that's your basic rocking swing, 3 dantians working as one, using different focal points and fulcrums, and then the 7 steps of the Lotus one more time. We're going to work on what's called the body spring. Now the body spring, I know I talked about it in my staff video, so you can always go check it out there. I was in the front of the blackboard at the college. The body spring is really important in drunken. So what you have to imagine is there's a spring between your xiphoid process at the base of your ribs and basically your pelvis. And it's a spring, just like a spring out of a car. And it's important that that imagery is in your head, okay? It's not a slinky. Slinkies don't retain their shape really. It's got to be a very difficult spring to move, like a car spring. A car spring wants to maintain its shape. So when you compact it, it'll recoil itself back to its shape. As well as if I twist it, it's going to try to snap back to where it belongs. When you're doing rocking and swaying, you need to imagine this spring inside your body. So that every time you start to move, if I go really slow, you'll see a contraction take place as I create the drunken back. And that gives you your kind of springy energy. So if I'm mentally holding the spring in place, when I let that spring go, literally a release, which is important because when you're doing Kung Fu, you don't want to be punching. You don't want to go, I'm going to punch you, and throw that crap. You want to release energy. You want to release force. So you compact, not tighten, compact the spring mentally, and you should be feeling like it wants to regain its shape. So that when you do regain your shape, it's going to just kind of let things go, okay? You see this in our Uncle Tal form, the Royal Uncle form, where you step back and go like this, over and over, just to release that vertical energy forward, okay? Now, when you do rocking and swaying, it's the same. That spring is compacting, condensing, and twisting. So if you think about a car spring, you've put this thing in the worst position. It does not want to be here. All it wants to do is maintain its shape. Let your body do that. So when I take my step and I twist the spring, see that twist and that compression? All it wants to do is maintain its shape. And then it recoils. And maintain its shape over and over. So this really floppy, loose look should just be a look. Okay, that's what's important here. You should have the ability to release that power. Issue, express, that power at any time, in any position. So a good drill for that, and rocking and swaying, is as you're practicing this and moving around, once in a while, fire something out of it. Even if it's a nice tasty little punch. But make sure it's not this, where I'm just throwing my arm. Because that's crap. Don't do that, okay? You want to make sure that your body releases it. Okay? So if you're moving around, release force whenever you feel like releasing force. In any direction that you want. But make sure it's compress, release. Compress, release. 3 cannons. Drunken boxing. 7 steps of the Lotus. Rocking, swaying. All the same. Thanks.